Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops back live with you. Silicon Steve Valley, of course, my mentor, my brother, my compadre, my brochacho, Vladi Dottie. Bryan Danielson, is he the scoundrel that caused CM Punk's firing? Well, things are going crazy. Vladi Dottie, what do you got for us today here on Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops?
So, yeah, I just wanted to touch base with you on it because this Bryan Danielson thing, the way, and especially how it's been leaked out that he was involved in a disciplinary committee that led to CM Punk's firing. So there's been a lot of like back and forth on the internet about Bryan Danielson. And one of the things I realized here is one, at first when they came out with the news, it almost like led you to believe that Bryan Danielson had the deciding vote and axed him. And then all of a sudden, like the day later, Bryan Danielson does a podcast and basically comes out and says, hey, first of all, I don't even have a college education and I'm in a room full of lawyers. And it's like, okay, so he was basically guiding. And one of the things he mentioned is that he likes Punk. They're friends, and also that, how did he put it? Like he had empathy to the situation. Now, and again, I don't know how he voted, and he could have very well voted with them, but I feel like he was there for just the semantics, like he's representing the wrestlers in a way, being there in the meeting so he can understand and maybe even verbalize this to Tony Khan, because again, this whole conversation to me indicates symptoms of the disease that is basically destroying AEW from within at this point. So on day 2, Danielson walks it back, sort of says, yeah, I was there and I was involved, but there was a bunch of lawyers there. And since that time, one of the other things that's been revealed about Danielson is that he's been the guy that Tony Khan has put in charge of finding people for saying different things on social media. How this boosts or helps morale, I'm not sure. And also, allow me to walk one thing back towards the whole Danielson story about Punk leading to Punk's firing. And I have yet to ask you this. There was a NDA. Usually when those are involved, both parties usually sign them. How does that story get out? And then it's verified by Danielson. That sort of caught me off guard. I'm like, that would definitely I would think, be involved in the NDA as far as what led to the process of him getting fired. And that's just surprising. And again, reeks of Tony Khan and just whatever
incompetence
he has around him. That really caught me off guard. And then in addition to this, well, hey, you know what? We can actually talk a little bit about wrestling. We have a pretty interesting tournament going on. Danielson's in there. He's wrestling with a broken orbital, and it seems like he's leading to the championship, in my opinion, probably against Moxley, if anybody. So you have this circumstance, and as you and I have talked throughout his career at AEW with Danielson, when he arrived, one of the things I thought of in particular was like, wow, I'm going to get a feud between Danielson and Omega. I'm going to get a feud of Danielson and Moxley, which I did. Some of it was a little bit weird with the Regal thing, that was sort of out there. I'm thinking how it went with the MJF part of it, at least.
Oh, the ending was disaster because Regal fucking dipped.
Yeah. And but the way they both played it off, that's just another, minutia of the.
I would agree with that. I would agree with
that. But then beyond that, also, we've had Danielson concentrating on the wrong things. And with Danielson, we've not seen him really go after the world title at all, right?
No, he main event. No, what are you talking about? He wrestled.
With MJF.
He wrestled two. I think he wrestled 2 pay-per-views for the title.
Yeah,
he wrestled Hangman too.
Yeah. So in regards to Danielson, we never saw him win it. All right.
No.
But what we did get instead is a feud with Daniel Garcia, which led to what exactly?
They had the big payoff on Rampage last night, Vladi.
And what happened?
Big payoff. So Danielson spit on Garcia after the match.
Wow.
And they asked him about it while he was deep in meditation. He's been cutting these promos while meditating lately. It's actually pretty cool. His promos have been really good lately. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't put him on television. You have to go to their YouTube page because AEW is fucked. They have to make sure you get your Sky Blue match in there and your and your Jeff Jarrett segment. You can't put your main players telling you why they do what they do and feel the way they do. We have to try to promote young and up-and-comers like Jeff Jarrett. Anyway, he said the reason he did that, his actions after the match, he might have attacked him a little bit as well. I didn't watch it because it's Rampage.
Right.
He said he did it because he brought it up. He's like, I was facing Chris Jericho last year, and you cost me the match, and you took him over me, and you should have been in the Blackpool Combat Club. So they finally put a nice bow on that feud. Great
I give him credit.
Tony. Tony.
You know what? I give him credit, but in the same breath, too, it's like we wasted his time, and I'm glad Danielson approached it that way, but we wasted his time because here, Garcia would rather dance in his matches and get on TV that way versus going the approach like as him as a professional wrestler, which Tony Khan didn't feel was necessary.
To be fair, he's getting a much bigger reaction since he started dancing. But you know what? By the way, is a microcosm of Tony. And
I would make this comment: he's the second best dancer on the show. So, do you really want like lay your hat on that? He doesn't touch Prince Nana. Exactly. That place goes crazy when Prince Nana goes out.
Swerve is really over as well. They're going to turn him babyface.
He's hugely over.
He might be the one who takes out MJF, man. He might be.
He could be. So let's get back to Bryan Danielson real quick. So, adding to the symptoms of the disease here, Tony Khan had this to say in The Athletic, and this is a direct quote. Bryan and I made an agreement 3 years to the week before AEW All In 2024, Khan said. The agreement was that Bryan would wrestle full-time for 3 years. And this is the direct quote, even 3 years in advance of the expiration of the agreement, I was already clawing for him to stay. He will stay with us in spirit and sometimes occasionally make sporadic appearances with us. So Tony Khan right now has a feeling that he's going to be able to sign this guy to a part-time contract so he can remain there in spirit and occasionally wrestle. Like the idea of him just being like, oh, he's going to be here in spirit. Like for you to say that as a CEO of your company, in that very strange in terms of what is going on around you at this moment. And my feeling is that spirit is going to flutter away to WWE and do a part-time contract there where that many more people will see him, and his return, especially if CM Punk kept his nose clean, will add to that mix right there. And my God, Tony Khan is shown to be nothing but almost foolish with how he's handling these contracts.
Yeah.
And also, we mentioned that Bryan Danielson is levying fines for people on social media. He's in these meetings with, basically disciplinary meetings where led to CM Punk getting fired. And why not make this guy an EVP then? And also, why is he doing EVP work? And where's the other three? Like, what is going on in this place? This house is burning, man. Holy cow.
I agree with everything you just said. I mean, but in terms of stupid things Tony Khan said, I think the thing in spirit wouldn't even crack the top 100. So yeah. I'm not going to make as big of a deal about it as you. I think the bigger point is, look at his contract issue. And by the way, this didn't just start. This isn't a new thing. Cody Rhodes had the TNT Championship without a contract. Luckily, he was a good human being and did the job for Sammy Guevara, one of the greatest cutters ever. Jon Moxley, the reason he could refuse to job to CM Punk is because your world champion was wrestling without a contract. And no one brings that up. If he could tell Tony Khan, could tell Jon Moxley, you're jobbing to CM Punk, deal with it, you're under contract, Moxley would have no leg to stand on. Because he didn't have a contract, he was able to call his shot in that ridiculous Rocky III thing. And it also caused bridges to even a already volatile situation with Hangman and what happened there and the EVPs, an already volatile situation. Now he's got heat with Jon Moxley on top of it because he refused to lose to CM Punk. And if you're CM Punk, What the fuck? You're refusing to lose to me? Which is bullshit. You shouldn't refuse to lose, but because he didn't have a contract, which is Tony Khan's idiocy and lack of responsibility, I mean, it's bizarre. And, we killed Vince McMahon when he did that once or twice before with Alundra Blaze and Jeff Jarrett. When Alundra Blaze dropped the title in the trash can, and Jeff Jarrett held the title for ransom so he would do the job, I think, against China. And Tony Khan gets a pass by this crowd, this AEW sycophants. They can do no wrong. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling in English at this point. And I love New Japan Pro Wrestling, but you're not getting a lucrative TV deal. You're not going to get more people in the seats, and your pay-per-view buy rights aren't going to be the same. Those are the realities, because Tony Khan there's so many problems with the head of this company right now. It's ridiculous.